There are dozens, if not hundreds, of videos on YouTube about capsule wardrobes. However, the majority of them are made by millennials or middle-aged women, and there's obviously nothing wrong with them. And in fact, I've probably watched at least 50, if not 100 of those videos because this is how I taught myself about capsule wardrobes. I educated myself and I actually got a lot of inspiration and motivation from them. However, I feel like there's not many people that are close to my age. I'm
What's 9 plus 10?
21 who have posted about their capsule wardrobes, and honestly, it's probably because a lot of people, I'm going to say our age, our generation, because I'm assuming you're a Gen Z as well. I feel like there's not a lot of people, a lot of Gen Zs who do capsule wardrobes. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience as a Gen Z who has recently rediscovered capsule wardrobes and has really been loving it. One thing that I noticed about a lot of the videos that are on the internet about capsule wardrobes is that I find that a lot of them do have, like a lot of the ladies who make those videos do have similar styles. I know that there is a stigma about capsule wardrobes and about minimalism, that it is mostly plain clothing, you know, white t-shirts, a black turtleneck, very cookie cutter, and that's definitely not the case about how capsule wardrobes have to be. However, I do find that maybe like 50% of the capsule wardrobe videos out there are very similar in terms of the clothing that they have in their closet. And I'm someone who's not working in corporate. Like, I'm still in university, I'm still a student. I have a bit more of a youngster style. I don't know. Like, I don't wear trousers and blazers, and so this is basically going to be a video of everything that I wish I saw when I started getting back into capsule wardrobes. It's going to be kind of like a all-in-one guide about what capsule wardrobes are, my experience, my tips about building your own capsule wardrobe, decluttering your closet, and everything else in between. So whether you're someone whose closet is currently bursting at its seams with pieces from fast fashion like Shein and Princess Polly, or if your closet is already pretty pared down but you're looking to add in some more pieces, looking for some inspiration of, you know, what's missing in my closet to really elevate it, then I hope this video will either educate you, motivate you, inspire you, in some way add some value into your life. But before I totally dive into what capsule wardrobes are, I want to introduce myself in case you're new here. Hi, I'm Tony Han. Typically I do make a lot of videos about academic tips. However, I'm looking to expand my content into other interests of mine like fashion. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy watching me, then consider subscribing, sticking around, because I do plan on making more videos along these lines if this video seems to get enough interest. Okay, so what is a capsule wardrobe? Also, I do have an entire video outline here with everything that I want to cover. This is going to be a very intensive guide and thought out video. So I have the papers, I have the receipts. And also, really quick side note, I did not get much sleep last night, and I wasn't able to continue to sleep in this morning because my body just wakes myself up. So I decided to get a medium double. If you know, you know. However, now that I have downed that coffee, I feel so anxious and antsy, and my heart rate and breathing is so fast. So if at any points my thoughts don't seem totally coherent or totally make sense, it's because I literally can't completely think straight right now. It's the combination of lack of sleep and too much caffeine. Also, I'm really curious, if you are someone who drinks caffeine on the daily, is your body just accustomed to it at this point, or do you feel this way every day? Because I've never been a consistent coffee drinker, so whenever I do drink coffee, the effects are like pretty intense, and so I don't know if I should just drink less coffee, or if you start to drink more coffee more regularly, does this just become normal? Like, genuinely, like, I want to know from you guys what kind of effects coffee has on you, because I forgot how much coffee has an effect on my body and the way it reacts. Okay, sorry about that little coffee tangent, but let's get back to what actually is a capsule wardrobe. So I'm going to kind of use this as a guide as I go along throughout this point. So a capsule wardrobe is a thoughtfully curated wardrobe made up of versatile, high quality pieces that you love to wear and that all work well together. Most people try to keep this number pretty low, but there really is no strict rules that you have to follow. It's more about cutting the clutter, simplifying your choices, and making getting ready in the morning a lot easier, a lot more of an enjoyable experience. In my opinion, a capsule wardrobe should be a collection of clothing and pieces that are all your favorites. Every single item in your closet, in your wardrobe, is your favorite. A really quick intermission. If you are enjoying this video, I ask that you please take like 3 seconds of your time to give it a thumbs up. It just helps the performance of my video, and videos that do well, I do tend to make more of, and it also just helps my channel out a lot. So I'd really appreciate if you did that. Thank you so much, and back to the video. While obviously you can build your capsule wardrobe however you want, there are a few methods that are quite popular on the internet, so I'm going to quickly run through them so you can see if any of them resonate with you and you want to try them out yourself. The first one is probably the most popular, and it's called Project 333. It was created by this lady called Courtney Carver, and basically it's about keeping just 33 items for 3 months. So you do this for all 4 seasons. Each season is about 3 months long. So Courtney says that the 33 items should include your clothing, your shoes, your outerwear, and accessories. And those accessories include things from scarves, hats, bags, and even your jewelry. However, I know that a lot of people who do Project 333 choose not to include jewelry as part of their 33 items. And then the items that you don't include in the 33 items are loungewear, so that ranges from pajamas, workout clothes, or anything that you just wear at home, as well as undergarments. The next method is the 10-item wardrobe. And when I first heard of this, I was also like, 10 items? That is crazy. That could never be me. Like 10 items literally sounds like nothing. At least that's what I first thought when I heard of it. However, now that I've had a lot less items in my wardrobe, I realized that it's actually not that impossible, and it's not as restrictive as it sounds, but it basically is what it sounds like. You have 10 items in your wardrobe. This was created by this lady called Jennifer L. Scott, and she talks about it in her book called Lessons from Madame Chic, which is a book where she talks about lessons that she learned when she lived abroad in France. And one of those lessons was about how she noticed that women in France typically only had about 10 items in their wardrobe, but they were very curated, high quality pieces. The next one is also inspired by French women. It's actually called the 5-piece French wardrobe. This method was supposedly first discussed back in 2005 on early fashion threads. Someone on the thread discussed how French women only buy 4 to 5 high quality pieces each season, since they already have a strong foundation in their wardrobe of high quality basics. So each season they get 4 to 5 items. Now this concept doesn't quite sit with me right now that I've been doing this capsule wardrobe for a little bit now, because I realized that I actually really enjoy taking the time to curate my closet. So only having a small period of time before each season to like buy 4 or 5 items seems a little too forced to me, and seems like you're kind of expediting the process of curating the perfect wardrobe. So this is something that I probably wouldn't ever follow. Lastly, we have travel capsules, and these are essentially mini wardrobes that you curate for a specific trip. And I feel like a lot of us think that we do this because obviously you don't bring your entire wardrobe on a trip with you. However, I think that a lot of us are chronic overpackers. We pack things just in case, and we pack things so we can be prepared for any situation. Now that I have been consuming media about minimalism, I've realized that there's so many more pros for packing lighter and bringing less with you than packing things just in case that you'll probably never end up using. It'll cause you more stress, take up more space, and add more weight to your luggage. It's now time to talk about the Gen Z closet problem. We're literally the first generation to grow up with this much access to clothing. Fast fashion and overconsumption has seriously become such the norm. And I'm not criticizing here, because honestly, 3 months ago, that was me. And I was so blinded by it. Like, I feel like our generation doesn't even realize how much of a problem this is. These days, I believe that TikTok and Instagram are probably the 2 social media platforms that Gen Z uses the most. And on those platforms, every like 3 or 4 scrolls, you're getting an influencer. If you're, into fashion or on that side of TikTok, it's so easy to have influencers in your face showing you their hauls of dozens of items at a time. And it's so normal. And I was used to it and I loved it. I would eat that up. I'd be like, oh yeah, show me the perfect hoodie that hoodies. Show me the shoes of the summer, the coat of the winter. Let me give you a reenactment of what I used to do when I was on TikTok. By the way, I have been doing a social media detox. I'm going to make a video on that. So I'm saying Gen Z, and obviously not everyone as a Gen Zer is on these social media platforms, including myself. I haven't been on Instagram for a couple of months now and TikTok for a few weeks now. But let me give you a reenactment of what I would do when I was on TikTok, because I don't watch Instagram Reels, but TikTok, that's a very dangerous, slippery slope. I'm on TikTok, okay? I'm scrolling. I come across this video. This is the best hoodie that hoodies, or I'm testing out the 5 most viral hoodies. I watched this 1-minute video. At the end of the 1 minute, the influencer tells you this is the best hoodie. It's $90, but it's so worth your $90. I would click the link in her bio, and then honestly, I'm not too much of an impulsive buyer, so I'd probably bookmark the page and have it bookmarked for, I would wait, I don't know, a day or two, a week max. And honestly, I feel like I'm pretty good in comparison to a lot of the people that I know. However, even if I waited for, let's say, 2 weeks, I did not need another hoodie. I already had, at that time, probably 4 hoodies. So did I really need a 5th hoodie? No. And when it would arrive in the mail, I'd probably be so excited, I would wear it for a day or two, and because the hedonic treadmill of psychology or whatever, you get that high, and then you just kind of feel numb again. And I would do this over and over and over again until I had literally drawers. This entire dresser used to be full, and up on top of my closet, I would have 3 cloth bins filled with clothing, and then I'd also start to put things in my underbed drawers because I didn't have enough space. And obviously I wasn't wearing all of this stuff. Ended up with a closet literally bursting, yet every time I went to get dressed, I would try on things and they would end up in my bed, and I would end up wearing the same thing that I wore 2 days ago. Fast forward to now, I probably have about a third of what I did a few months ago, but somehow it feels like I have more to wear. Getting dressed is not only easier, but I actually enjoy it. I get up and I get excited to go look at my closet, and because everything that I put on, everything in my closet, I genuinely love. Everything is my favorite. I could close my eyes, grab something, and I would be happy to wear it out the door because I know that I love it, and it's just such a good feeling. The frustration when you put on something and it just looks bad on you, and then you feel bad about your body, it sets your day off on the wrong foot. And I can't sit here and say that I'm a minimalist now. However, I have been really trying to implement a lot of the minimalist practices, and I'm not going to get all of that into I'm really going on a tangent here. But anyways, this is why I'm making the video, and this is why I'm so passionate about it, just because it's made such a big difference in my life, and I want you guys to have that same experience and be able to feel the same positive feelings that I feel whenever I go get dressed in the morning. Every morning now. I am now going to give you a full wardrobe tour of every single piece that I have in my capsule wardrobe, and I counted the pieces, and ironically, very unintentionally, honestly, I have 33 pieces, and I didn't even realize that until I counted, and I honestly thought that I had a lot closer to 40 or even 50 pieces, and so that just kind of proves that 33 items does feel like a lot. And that was me including my outerwear, my purses, my shoes, all of my shirts, my everything, everything that Project 333 includes, I counted except for jewelry, because I really do love to accessorize with different jewelry pieces. And so I'm not going to be showing my jewelry in this video because I'm going to make a separate jewelry video. Also, I'm a fully silver jewelry girly, so if you are also into silver jewelry, I do find it's less popular than people who wear gold. So if you're interested in finding out where I get my jewelry, make sure to keep an eye out for that video. I do want to note that there are a few things that I'm not going to show you because they're not currently in my capsule. The main things are the things that I have for the warmer seasons. I live in Canada, so this wardrobe will do me good for 6 months because our winters are literally 6 months long. And some of these items are a little bit more summery that I keep in my winter wardrobe because whenever I'm indoors, I can get away with wearing tank tops like this. However, things like denim shorts, bathing suits, I don't keep in my winter wardrobe, obviously. Some other things that I still own, yet I'm not going to show you, is because I am planning on getting rid of them, are the things that I have back in my hometown. If you're in university, you go back home, and whenever you go back home, you wear the most ratchet, thrown together piece of clothing, like your high school hoodies and such. I have all that stuff still back home. And then also I do have, you can kind of see it there, that blue bin is my purgatory bin. And those are pieces that I am not quite ready to part with yet. They're sort of maybe items, however, they're definitely leaning more towards I will probably get rid of them. And typically what happens once I put them in there and I go back to it in a few weeks, I feel emotionally ready to let them go, and then I donate or give them away to friends. Okay, I am now going to show you my 33-ish items. I'm not going to go into everything into too much detail because your capsule wardrobe is obviously going to be very personal, and so I'm not expecting you to this is not like a shopping guide. It's just more about these are the items that I chose, and I'll explain for certain items why I really love them, but I'm gonna try not spend too long doing this. I'm going to start with what I'm wearing. Actually, these are two things that I wear, actually three things that I wear very often. Is this black tank top from Aritzia. It's their butter collection, so it's super soft. I have two belts. This is one of them, and the other one I'm actually not going to show because I'm going to show it in my jewelry collection since the other one isn't functional, it's decorative. And then these are the jeans that I wear literally every single day. I love them so much. Starting on this side of the closet where I keep all of my bottoms is this long black maxi skirt. This is a perfect example of a very versatile piece because depending on the top that I wear it with and the accessories that I pair it with, I can really dress it up or dress it down more casually. Then I have these blue yoga pants, and I actually wish these were black because I find that the only thing that I really wear it with is this blue hoodie, and so I really recommend not buying things where you only have one or two things that you like to wear it with. The other pair of pants that I like to frequently wear, I bought these when I was in Italy, and I think they're 100% cotton. They're super comfortable. They're great in the winter because they're long pants, but also I like to wear them on cooler summer nights because it gives very much like summer beach core vibes. I recently bought this off of Depop, and Depop can be kind of risky, or just buying anything online can be risky because you never know how it's gonna fit, but luckily this fit me like a glove, and I especially love the sequins neckline. Now this next item I actually was considering of putting into my bin of purgatory because I don't reach for it that often, and this is another example of a basic that I own, and the only reason I really own it is because it's a basic. But I do think I'm going to keep this around because it's literally like one of the only plain basic t-shirts I have, and if I just want something super plain, I mean, it pairs well with these jeans. Anything pairs well with these jeans. Like, that's why I love them so much. But that's from Garage, and I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Now this next top is one of my most recent purchases, and this is probably the most expensive top that I own because it is an investment, but it was worth every penny, every dollar, every $10. It's from this company called beige, and they have their studio in London, and they hand make everything. One of the most unique tops ever. It is very cool, girl. I love it so much, and I also think it is pretty timeless. And then the other pattern top that I own is also black and white, but this one is polka dots. So it is this V-cut tank top, and if you see really closely, there's actually a little bit of lace there. So something I want to quickly talk about, and you'll notice for the next few items, is what I really like to do for tops and what makes my closet more interesting than just cookie cutter black and white t-shirts is investing in elevated basics. A lot of my tops, especially this black section here, don't have much variety in terms of color, but the cut, shape, and the textures, the materials are what make them unique and what makes my capsule wardrobe not boring. This next item here is actually a perfect example of an elevated basic. It looks like at first glance maybe just a black t-shirt, but you'll see in the try on that it's actually a boat neck, and I think it's very flattering on my body shape and the way it sits, and it's also very practical. I'm embarrassed to say that something that I bought about 2 months ago and have already decluttered is this off the shoulder shirt from H&M. Also, it was pretty cheap quality, but that's not the reason that I decluttered it. The reason that I donated it is because it was off the shoulder and the sleeves kept rising up anytime I tried to do any kind of movement. That really pissed me off, so I just decluttered it because I much prefer this top that doesn't ride up. And then the other black t-shirt that I own, because I do love to wear black, is this polyester-y one here. Kind of a bit more of a blouse. I could dress it up more. And as you can see with the lighting here, it is pretty thin, but that's nice when I don't want to wear something that's too hot. This next item is a perfect example of how you can incorporate texture into your capsule wardrobe. It's this long sleeve collared black lace shirt. The two main ways that I like to wear this is either as an overlayer, for example on top of this tank top would be perfect, and then accessorizing with jewelry, or I often like to wear it underneath this jersey here because this is a bit more sporty, and then having this lace collared blouse gives it a little bit of like a juxtaposition, a little bit contrast between the two different styles. And then for my last all plain black top, I have this off the shoulder or one shoulder sweater shirt from Aritzia. Super great basic for when I want something a little bit warmer than all of the tank tops that I own. Next up, we have this jersey top that I talked about before, and it's from the brand called Alfred Eden. They kindly sent it to me a couple months ago. And while I would say that my style is a bit more feminine, there are days when I do want to dress a little bit more edgy, a little more cool girl. And those are the days that I pull out this bad boy, and I feel very cool when I wear it, especially with the lace underneath. Speaking of Alfred Eden, this is also from that brand, and it is this really unique hoodie. This is actually a piece that I get so many compliments on because it's very unique. It has this wiener dog. It's actually really well stitched on there, very high quality. Maybe you've noticed, maybe you haven't, but navy blue is another one of the colors that I like to wear a lot of. It's black, navy blue, a little bit of light blue, denim, and then there's actually no white in my closet right now. I have a couple white items, but it's in like my summer capsule because I really just don't wear much white at all. Now, I'm not sure if when I was counting my items, I counted this as one of my 33 items or not, because I don't really wear this on a casual basis. I mostly just wear this when I go to the gym, but a lot of people do wear their Lululemon defined jackets on the day-to-day when you want to give a bit more like yoga mom, a little more athleisure. This is the perfect thing. You know, it's pretty snatching, and I really like this color on me. And then we have the hoodie that I wear the most often, and it is the Aritzia TNA Perfect hoodie. I wear this the most often because it's very thick, and so since I live in Canada, I always need something that's pretty warm, and because I don't really wear my winter jacket very often, I prefer to wear my thick leather jacket. This adds that layer of extra warmth that I need on those cool days. And then lastly, for my hanging section, but certainly not least, is this long denim shacket, I think is what people call them. It is basically this very thin denim material. I thrifted this a couple years ago. I love it, especially because it's the perfect thing to throw on when it's a little too chilly outside to just wear a t-shirt, but it's not cold enough to wear like my leather jacket. And somehow it matches my denim pants here. Look at the stance. So chic of me, so elegant of me. It matches these jeans perfectly, so it's a match made in heaven. And this is like the perfect example of something that you can only really thrift and not find in retail, because I really don't know where you'd find a thing just like this, because it's such a unique piece. So below my hanging items here, I have my dresser, and I'm actually just going to show you what's in the top drawer, because this bottom one here I keep just junk. It's just a junk drawer, honestly. And then the second drawer, I keep just my workout clothes, the few items that I do keep. And in Project 333, they don't include workout clothes as the 33 items, so I didn't either. But this is what's inside. It's not much, honestly. I've really pared it down as well. And I'm going to show you the items that I did include for the 33 items, and then some items that I didn't. And actually, I'm going to show you first the items that I did not include for the 33 items. It is these sweatpants that I only wear at home. They're just super comfortable. I like to throw them on. These shorts that I basically only wear whenever I'm walking on my walking pad at home. These fluffy socks that I wear basically like slippers. My few pairs of socks and underwear. That's one thing I have noticed about doing a capsule wardrobe is I do laundry a whole lot more often, but honestly I don't mind it because laundry is a lot less daunting now. While I do laundry probably twice as often as I used to, my loads are half the size, so it's not as much of a daunting task to do. On the top row here I have a bra, a tie that I like to use to accessorize, my one like decorative scarf that I don't use for the winter time. I used to have maybe 5 or 6 thick sweaters, but I realized I actually much prefer to wear like a hoodie over a sweater. It's just more comfortable, a lot more practical. So I only kept my absolute favorite one here. My favorite winter scarf that I bought when I was in Edinburgh, and then my one pair of gloves that I wear in the winter. And this is something that I would actually like to replace next winter because they're not my favorite. But for now, since winter season's basically wrapped up, I mean, it's technically spring now, but in Canada, it's still quite cold. It just snowed the other day. So I'm going to keep them. And then next fall or winter, I'm going to, do a pretty intensive search to find hopefully like the perfect pair of gloves to replace these. Next up is probably my favorite section, and we're going to talk about my bags. And I did include these in my 33 items. I'm going to go through them in order of smallest to largest, starting with this red one that I bought last summer when I was in Italy. Nothing like good old Italian leather. This one here is my go-to everyday bag. I probably use this 6 days out of the week. It is the perfect size. It matches everything. I believe brown leather goes with literally everything. My third bag is something that I thrifted back in the fall, and I love that it's expandable. So if I want, I can fit my laptop in here, but when I pull on the drawstrings, it cinches and becomes a lot smaller. I actually have a what's in my everyday bag video where I show you this bag a little bit more in detail. If you're interested, I will link it above. And then my last bag is honestly probably the most beautifully made item in my closet, and it is also my largest bag. It is this bag from Teddy Blake, and they are actually the sponsor of today's video. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Teddy Blake, they make luxury quality handbags at more accessible prices. So they actually make their bags in the same factories as other high-end handbag brands, but without the price markup that you'd normally pay for a bag at this quality. The size of this bag is honestly perfect because I can use it as a tote or as a purse. It's big enough that I can fit my 14-inch MacBook Air, but also small enough that I can just put it over my shoulder and use it as a purse if I want to carry a little bit more. My favorite part of the bag would definitely have to be the red lining that just peeks out a little bit when you are holding it. Teddy Blake actually currently has an Easter sale going on now until April 21st. Items will be up to 35% off, so you can click the link in my bio to check them out. And whether you're watching this video in time for the sale or not, you can use the code on the screen here to get an extra $30 off your entire order. Thank you again, Teddy Blake, for sponsoring this video. And guys, although this is sponsored, I genuinely love my Teddy Blake so much, and I do recommend checking them out because this video is all about investing in pieces that you really do love for your closet, and this is one of the items that I see keeping in my closet for the rest of my life. And then lastly, we have my footwear, and these are also included in the 33 items. Now, the only 2 pairs that you're not seeing are the ones that I wear for working out. So I have 1 pair of running shoes and then 1 pair of lifting shoes. And I didn't include them because I don't wear them out and about just for fashionable reasons. They're really just for practical reasons. So up top here we have my knockoff Uggs. Honestly not that practical for snow, but they're fashionable, so I like to wear those in the winter. We have my 6 or 7-year-old Birkenstocks. They have been through it, but they are still holding up, so I keep them around. We have my good old trusty black high tops. This is actually my second pair because my last one's got a hole at the heel, and as you can see, these ones are starting to wear out quite a lot there as well. They're perfect to wear with jeans. These ones here I get so many compliments on. They're these small little, not kitten heels, but they're a short heel, and then they have this square toe, shiny toe, and they actually go quite tall, but they're just folded right now. And I thrifted these. Funny story, or not really so funny, but after about a month of wearing them, after I thrifted them, they got holes in the sides here because I have wider feet. And so I went to the shoe store to get them fixed, and the amount that I paid to get them fixed cost more than I actually paid when I thrifted them. But at this point, it's like the sunk cost fallacy. And then lastly are my red flats that I bought in Italy. As you see in the back here, I had to add a little bit of foaming or cushioning because they were quite uncomfortable, but now they're super worn in and I love them. And they are on their last ends as well because as you can see, I have holes there. I don't know if I drag my feet or what, but it seems like that is where all of the wear and tear of all of my shoes are. Is that normal, or am I a heel dragger? Let me know in the comments. But these are my 5 pairs of footwear. Okay, now that I have shown you all of the items in my wardrobe, let's talk about the real benefits that I have experienced already from this 1 month of doing this. And I guess technically I have been doing Project 333 without even realizing it. The main thing, and I kind of already mentioned this, is my mornings and getting dressed is not only so much easier, but so much more enjoyable. I actually get excited to get up in the morning and get dressed. And even though obviously I know what's in my closet, it's exciting because I get to pick out of my favorite items. Anything that I put on my body, I feel great in, honestly. And that's such a special feeling to have every single morning. I've also noticed I have been getting most compliments on my outfits and my fashion sense than I ever have in my entire life. All throughout this year, honestly, I have been trying to experiment with my style, so I have been getting a decent amount of compliments compared to years in the past, especially in high school. I liked fashion, but I honestly didn't have the best fashion taste in my opinion. Fashion and style is subjective, but I didn't get that many compliments about my fashion. But now, basically, anytime, it's gonna sound really cocky, but I'm just speaking my experience here, okay? basically anytime that I leave my apartment, and it helps because I live in residence, I'm an RA, so I know people and I live on campus, so people that I pass all the time, they're people that know me. It's not just strangers complimenting me, but my friends and my peers are always like, oh my gosh, Tony, I love your outfit, you always look good, like your outfits always look good. And that's, I don't do it for the external validation, but it helps me feel like I'm doing something right, and like I finally have found my style that not only do I feel good in, but also that other people are noticing and that they think it looks good on me as well. The next thing that is really beneficial is I now appreciate the things that I own in my closet, like my clothing pieces, so much more than I did before. And appreciation has become such a bigger part of my life than accumulation and a constant feeling of wanting more. I think this is a combination of curating my closet and enjoying my closet, and also getting off of TikTok. TikTok is really bad for that, obviously, like showing you things that you didn't even know that you wanted. And also getting off of, I'm going to talk about this later on in the video, but getting off of Facebook Marketplace and not putting myself in situations like being in retail or even like thrift stores. I try not to do that because then I'm putting myself in a dangerous place as a former borderline shopaholic. Then lastly, I want to talk about how basically when you have a capsule wardrobe, you wear your nice items all the time. I grew up with, I feel like, a scarcity mindset. We had play clothes at home, and you only wear your nice clothes at like certain events. And then when I was in school, like I would have like a nice first day of school outfit, and I still dressed nice going to school and such, but it wasn't my best every day. And now, when you only have clothes that you love and look good on you, you dress your best every day. And it really is like, I believe, look good, feel good, look good. It goes both ways. And so when I wear an outfit that I look good in and feel good in, my entire day shifts. Even if I woke up in a bad mood, putting on an outfit that you look good in and you love really makes your day 10% better, and that 10% can go a long way. Now, I could make a whole video on this next section, and it's on my decluttering tips and mindset shifts. That kind of rhymes, doesn't it? But I'm going to specifically be talking about wardrobe today. If you're interested also in more minimalism videos, again, I'm just getting into it again, but if you're interested in hearing my take as a Gen Z and just my experience as someone who's newly introduced to or reintroduced to minimalism, let me know, because I am really enjoying filming this video actually. But in this segment, I'm just going to be talking about decluttering tips specifically for your wardrobe. I think the easiest way to create a capsule wardrobe without shopping is creating a heck yes pile. Your heck yes items are the items that you would save in a fire. They're the items that it's like, oh yeah, like obviously I would never declutter it. In this moment in your life, that's how you feel. Maybe you've heard of the 80-20 rule. It applies to a lot of things in life, including your wardrobe. And that means that a lot of us wear 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. So take those 20%, and not only just those 20%, but the 20%, like of those 20%, the items that you really love wearing, you don't just wear just because they're like comfortable and or you're trying to like hide your body and or whatever it is. Like of those 20%, the items that you really love, pick those out, everything else out of your closet, and just hang up your heck yeses and count those items. See, wow, I have like already 20 items. See if you can maybe try going a week or even 2 weeks with just wearing those clothes, and you'll see how much easier it is to get ready, how much more enjoyable it is. And then also from there, you can see where the gaps are. You're like, I really don't have a nice pair of jeans that fit me well. I only wear these jeans because they're the best ones that I have, but I don't feel good in them. Then okay, this is what I don't like about them. This is what I do want in a perfect pair of jeans. And you can start the search and really take the time to curate and pick out every single piece that you bring into your closet. And so that would be my main approach that I recommend of creating a capsule wardrobe, is start with the items that you already love. My next tip is to let go of things from past versions of yourself or future versions of yourself that are like your fantasy version. So let's first talk about your past versions of yourself. Now, I'm going to give some like real life examples of my own past versions of myself and things that I let go because I'm no longer that person. So when I was in high school and when I was younger, I used to be a lot more of like an outdoorsy person. I was in Air Cadets, I was in Girl Guides, I was doing a lot of camping, outdoorsy things. And these days, I live in Toronto, a big city, and I was holding on to things that I would really only wear if I went camping. For example, multiple windbreakers or thick socks that go well with hiking boots. Because in my head, I was like, oh yeah, this is for when I go hiking. But then when I really reflected, I'm like, you know what? I don't really hike anymore, and within the next 6 months, I don't really plan on doing like an outdoors camping trip. Like, I will do some hikes, but I can wear my running shoes for that. I don't plan on tenting out anytime soon. And so it's okay to let go of those items. And the thing that really helps me let go of any item is knowing that someone else is going to find this item in the thrift store, or if I give it to a friend, either way, someone else is going to enjoy it, and that item is going to get a new life, and it's going to be able to serve its purpose again by being used instead of just sitting in the back of my drawer collecting dust. And not only is it taking up space, like physical space, but when something is in your drawer and you're not using it, your mind actually kind of holds on to that. Like, you know in the back of your head that even if you can't see it, it's like stashed away, it's hidden, it's not even like bursting out of the seams, like you just it's hidden in your drawers. You still know it's there, and it still takes up a little bit of mental space, and each item takes up a little bit more, and it just adds to mental clutter. Letting those things go really does make you feel a lot lighter in your physical environment, but also internally as well, without getting too hippy-dippy here. Okay, this next one I am really big on, and I feel like no one really talks about, is that you really don't need all the basics, or honestly, a lot of the basics. And so if you watch a lot of these capsule wardrobe videos, the creators will often say, to have the perfect capsule wardrobe, I recommend that you have 3 t-shirts, 1 white, 1 gray, 1 black, 1 black turtleneck, 1 denim jacket. And with these items, you can create like 100 outfits. And like if you go on Pinterest and you look up capsule wardrobe, all of these images will come up of how to create the perfect capsule wardrobe. And so in the past, when I thought about building a capsule wardrobe, I would look at my closet and I would see so many gaps. And sometimes I would go out and shop to try and fill those gaps. So I used to own a plain white t-shirt. I used to own a black turtleneck. I used to own items just because I'm like, well, yeah, duh, I need that item because it's a basic, and you need these items as the base for any good outfit. The truth is, someone else's basics doesn't have to be, or probably isn't, your basics. For example, I have a lot of black in my closet, and I have like 1 or 2 white tops. Now, I think that a lot of people who choose not to wear a lot of white is because it can get dirty easily, but honestly, that's not my reason. I mean, obviously that is a reason, but my main reason is I realized white just really doesn't look that good on my complexion. I have dark features, I have dark hair, dark eyes, and I find that black and dark brown look so much better on my skin and my undertones than white ever will. And so there's no reason that I have to own white items just because. And also in the summer, I don't have to wear white. Like, yeah, I might be a little bit more cooler on my body, but at the end of the day, I would much prefer to wear like this black tank top than a white one, just because it's the season of wearing white. Let's talk about a few different like decluttering techniques that you can do other than like the heck yes one. You can flip your hangers. I know you've probably heard of this one before, but you flip all your hangers the opposite direction, and then anytime that you actually wear something, not just try it on in the morning and decide not to wear it, but you actually wear it out for the day, when you put it back in your closet, you can put it back the right way, and then after a few weeks you can see all the items that are still flipped backwards and then choose to declutter those ones. Also, on that note about trying things on and deciding not to wear it, another recommendation of mine is, if you do that for an item, maybe consider just decluttering it. There's a reason that you chose not to wear it that day, and if it's just because it didn't look that good and just didn't really sit right and didn't look right, maybe that's a sign to declutter it. This next one is very extreme, and I haven't really heard about people using this for clothes. I hear more about people using it for their entire like house or apartment. But there's these guys called the Minimalists, and they have an entire podcast and documentary on Netflix. Basically, they came up with a concept that in order to like really declutter your life and see what's essential in your life, you pack up everything into boxes, and then anytime you need something, you take it out of the box. And after living like that for maybe like a month, you just take those boxes, anything that's still left in it, and donate it. So honestly, you could do the same thing for your closet. You pack up everything, and then every day when you need an outfit, you go into those boxes, specifically looking for a certain item. After you wear it, you put it into your closet, and then after some time, anything that's left in those boxes, you donate or sell or whatever. I know this is a pretty extreme approach, but it'll show you what you actually wear or gravitate towards or looking for when you go in those boxes. And honestly, a lot of the things in those boxes you will probably forget you even owned after a month of having it packed away. And spoiler alert, you probably will not miss any of those items that you donate, and it will just feel like a huge weight off your shoulders. Now let's talk about planning your capsule after you have decluttered your closet and there's still a few items that you feel are missing, but you're not really sure what exactly those pieces are. The first thing I recommend is to assess your lifestyle needs. So for example, are you in school? Are you working from home? Do you go to a lot of workout classes? Or do you go out at night to a lot of clubs? Your wardrobe really should reflect what your current actual life is at the moment. And like I said before, it's okay to let go of your past versions of yourself. And also, don't hang on to things because it's your just in case or like futuristic self. I forgot to talk about this before, but basically when I say this, it's like, oh, one day when I go to the fancy gala. Okay, when was the last time you went to a fancy gala? Your prom? Probably. And so you definitely don't need 2 fancy dresses. Maybe you don't even need 1 fancy dress. Because yes, they're beautiful. Okay, also this is something I want to quickly talk about. One thing that I've had to get over the hurdle of when I was decluttering is realizing that it is okay to declutter nice things. I realized that the majority of the things that I would hold on to is because they fit. I liked them. They're high quality name brand things. A lot of things from whether it was athletic clothes from Gymshark or casual clothing, everyday clothing from Aritzia. And I would hang on to them just because they're in great condition, they fit me, and they're nice items. That's the only reason I was keeping them. I would never wear them. But I thought, well, I can't declutter these, and I certainly can't donate them because I spent money on them and they're nice. But the thing is, when you get rid of those items that you aren't wearing anyways, not only are you giving them a second home, but you're also letting go of that guilt. And every time that you open the drawer and you see that Aritzia tank top that you spent $50 on and you never wear, it just kind of makes you feel guilty. And probably don't even realize it, but it brings in a feeling of guilt into your morning, and you kind of carry that with you throughout the day. It sets your morning off on the wrong foot, and anytime that you go into your closet, it should only be positive feelings associated with it. The next thing that I know some people recommend doing is to track what you wear for 1 to 2 weeks. So whether that is writing it down in a notebook or on your phone, taking photos of it. I know there's digital wardrobe apps where you can track on a calendar the exact outfits that you wear every day. But the point here is to see what you naturally gravitate towards, what you naturally always end up wearing, and then actually have a visual representation or having it in front of you on paper of what patterns there are. Oh yeah, I realized I only ever wear jeans, trousers. I never wear skirts. I own 5 skirts, I own 2 dresses, but I never wear them. It's basically putting on an analytical lens and assessing your closet from a practical standpoint of what you actually wear and seeing why you wear them. And from there, when you know your why you choose to wear certain items, then when you're shopping for the gaps in your closet, you know what to not buy. For example, now I know not to look for anything turtleneck. I don't really look at white items, no longer look at high-waisted bottoms. It makes shopping so much easier when you have a natural built-in filter in your brain where you just filter through, nope, it's a really nice item. You can appreciate it without having to buy it. That's another really great mindset, is when you are in a store, think of it as a museum. You can appreciate things without buying them. A shirt can be beautiful and look great on someone else, and you can appreciate it without having to bring it into your own closet. My next tip is to identify what actually feels good against your body. And I'm talking about materials here. I think we all know that wearing plastic, synthetic isn't great. That's not a natural fabric, a natural material or whatever. Everyone knows 100% cotton, denim, silk, supposedly best to wear. That being said, I do own some items that feel really good against my skin that are synthetic. For example, this shirt here, you can kind of see it's shiny. It's because it's probably made out of some sort of plastic. And I like this shirt because it's comfortable, and also I like that it's a little more wrinkle resistant. One thing that I don't like to wear, yeah, I know a lot of people in the minimalism community do recommend, is wool. I do find it's itchy, and I don't care how warm it is, it doesn't feel good against my skin. And so just always keeping those words in mind when you are shopping for new clothing, you can ask yourself, does this item fit within the vision that I want for my closet? And if not, then you can take a step back and realize, okay, this item really isn't the style that I now want to have, or now that I have. This isn't fit within my style pillar, and it's okay, I'm going to appreciate it and put it back on the rack. My next tip is to think about categories. Ask yourself, how many of each item do I realistically need? And this is something that I have recently had to take a step back and be like, okay, let me reflect, because I really love to buy and shop for really unique tops. So the majority of the things hanging up here are just different tops. And in terms of bottoms, I own, 4 items. And I know that typically people do own more tops than bottoms. I don't need like 4 times the amount of tops that I do bottoms. And maybe if I am shopping for something, I should consider, hey, I actually only own 1 pair of pants that I wear on the daily, which are these jeans. And I don't know if this is it's kind of gross because I don't wash them after every wear. I feel like most people don't, but I wear these jeans almost every day because at the moment they're the only pair of pants that I really like wearing. I do own, my maxi skirt, my yoga pants. Oh, also I wear these pants. I rotate between these pants and these pants. So basically I wear the same 2 pair of pants every day. Side note, nobody notices. But instead of buying a 7th tank top, I should maybe, if I do want to buy something, or don't just go shopping for the sake of shopping, but maybe I should reflect and be like, okay, let's put that money towards another pair of pants, so you don't have to keep wearing the same pair of jeans every single day. This next point I'm not going to talk about very much. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's to play with textures and shapes. So whether that be linen, silk, denim, not only do these materials feel different against your skin, but they also look different. Obviously silk is very flowy, kind of has a sheen to it, whereas linen is a lot more flat, a lot more earthy looking. A couple examples in my closet is sequins on this red tank top, and then obviously my lace black long sleeve. My last tip, and this is probably my favorite one for creating and curating the perfect capsule wardrobe for you as an individual, is to have 1 or 2 accent colors that is sprinkled throughout your wardrobe. So for me, it is a dark red, and the way that I picked this and figured out that this is the color that I want is because I realized it's the color that I always get compliments in the most. And I've actually had people just straight up say, these are friends who've said this, like, Tony Ann, oh my gosh, that shirt looks really nice on you, that color looks really nice on you. And it was always a dark red. And the thing is that I used to not like wearing red because red isn't my favorite color. It's my favorite color to wear now, but it's not my favorite color. My favorite color, I don't know what it is, but it's not red. But when it comes to style and clothes and fashion, it's my favorite color because it's what looks good on my complexion. In an ideal world, we would all get our color palettes professionally analyzed, but if you don't want to pay that fee, because I didn't, and maybe one day I will, but for now I haven't, I just thought about times in the past when people have complimented a certain color on me. And if you can't think of certain times when you have gotten compliments on a certain color, then my first tip is think about your eye color. I find that dark brown actually does look quite good on me. But especially if you have green eyes or blue eyes, I always love, no matter what your skin complexion is, I think that color will always look on you. So if you have green eyes, wearing green, basically any shade of green. If you have blue eyes, wearing any shade of blue really does make your eyes pop and looks really good. And then once you've figured out what that 1 or 2 colors are, maybe just start with 1. Start to bring in, or just really curate and take out the other colors that aren't that color. Certain items, specifically accessories. So I'm going to show you the items that I've pulled from my closet that are this dark red, and you'll notice that they're not all the exact same shade of red. However, when you're wearing let's say a red hat and red shoes, they're far enough away on your body that the eye kind of says that they're matching, even though they're not the exact shade. So let me quickly show you what my items are. So during my wardrobe tour, I already showed all these items, but now I'm just going to quickly show you them again so you can actually see them all together and see that the colors don't match perfectly, but they all kind of go together. So again, I have my red leather purse, then my 2 pairs of red shoes, my red boots, and my red flats, this red tank top, and then this last one is actually quite different in color, this red Lululemon Define jacket. However, if I wanted to pair these flats with this, I mean, I wouldn't because they're very different aesthetics. They're far enough away on my body that I feel like the eye ties them together and it looks like they match, even though they're quite different in color. Oh, and then I actually forgot this last item you haven't seen yet because I'm not showing my jewelry in this video, but I have these red earrings that, let me show you, beautiful red beads. And so whenever I'm wearing anything red, I'll wear like a red shirt, a red purse or shoes, and then these earrings are the final finishing touch that really ties together the entire outfit. So I forgot to show, I also have this red tie that I like to sometimes wear around my waist as a belt, and that also adds a little pop of red. Okay, so now you have curated your closet, you have pared it down to the items that you really love, but you are starting to get tempted to buy things again because it's an impulse, it's a compulsion. I am still working through this phase, and so these are some things that I remind myself and tell myself so I don't end up in the same loop and the same cycle again. Biggest thing that has been such a help for me is having a wish/temptations list. Basically, anytime I find something that all of a sudden I think I need for my closet, I will take that link and a picture of that item and add it onto my Canva document, and then I will just let it sit there. I've been doing this probably for about a month now. I haven't bought any of them, and I would say 2 or 3 of them I've already deleted because it's been like maybe just 2 weeks since I put it on the list, and now looking back at it, I realized that I actually don't really want that item that bad anyways. Briefly mentioned this before, but don't put yourself in tempting situations. So if you're one who typically goes into a thrift store and walks out with something, then don't go into a thrift store unless you have a very specific purpose in mind. So for the month of April, I'm actually doing a low to no buy. At the beginning of the month, I wrote down some things that I do plan on buying in the future. For example, I want to buy a new pair of shorts for the summer. So I wrote that down with the intention that, okay, like if I come across a pair of shorts, this is honestly the only thing that has been working for me, is just not putting myself in those situations, because I love to thrift and I like to browse and just look around. But if you don't go into the store with an intention like, okay, I'm here for this specific reason, then you're going to end up walking out with something that you didn't really need, and chances are you'll wear for a couple times and then you'll figure out there's something that you just don't quite like about it that makes you not want to wear it. Maybe it's just a little bit itchy, or it doesn't quite fit you right. And so while in the thrift store you think, oh, it's a great deal, it's only $7 for this t-shirt, but is it really worth $7 if you're only going to wear it once or twice? No. And it's also just not worth the time and energy and space that it takes up in your closet. My last tip, and this actually doesn't really belong in this category of the video, but I forgot to mention it earlier, but it's when you are decluttering, and let's say you actually have that pile of things that you've decided to let go of. This is something that I have recently been doing, like during my last declutter, is deciding not to sell a lot of the things that I normally would have tried to sell on Facebook Marketplace. And I realized I've been selling on Facebook Marketplace for literally so many years now. Like I started when I was a kid, so I have a lot of experience selling on Facebook Marketplace. But the last few times that I've sold something, it was maybe like $10 each item. I realized it is not worth the $10, even $15 or $20. It's not worth not only the time, but the energy and the frustration having to filter through the scammers, arranging the pickup time, dealing with no-shows. It just wasn't worth the extra cash to me. Also, the kind of like temptation to bring that item back into my closet. Sometimes the things that I'm selling, they are really nice items, which is why I'm trying to get a little bit of money out of them. But the time between when you list something and when it sells, that waiting period, it can be very tempting to take that listing down and bring it back into your closet. Even if it's not an item that you don't wear, it's just like, oh, this item's worth more than that $20, so I should just keep it. That's something I've done in the past. And so by being able to just donate it or give it away, you no longer have that temptation, and you can just let go with relief and not have to hold on to that guilt in the back of your drawer. Alright, so I know that this has been a pretty lengthy video, so I'm going to wrap up with some final reflections and thoughts, some food for thought for you. I would like to reiterate that I'm not trying to claim that like I'm a minimalist at this point in my life, but I'm just a lot more intentional, and I think that's something that we can all work on in this overconsumption world. And you don't have to, put a label on it. Just be a lot more intentional with your habits and your actions. Having this capsule wardrobe means that I buy a whole lot less, but I appreciate and love a lot more, and I really, really do mean that. And having a capsule wardrobe doesn't mean you can't shop again. Like, even if I get to the point, which I probably never will quite get to the point, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally have the perfect capsule wardrobe, I never want to buy anything else again. Because as humans, I think that we always want to have more. I think that's something that's just kind of part of our human nature. But anyways, and my last point is that having a capsule wardrobe isn't about never shopping again. I think that's a misconception that I used to have about capsule wardrobes. I was like, oh, I could never do that because I do like shopping and I do like to bring in new items. One rule that you could apply is the one in, one out rule. Every time you buy something or bring something in, you should or have to take out one item from that same category. So you bring in a new t-shirt, you take one out, and that can actually really help when you're shopping. If you're thinking, oh, I really like this shirt, like I love it. Can you think about a shirt in your closet that you'd be willing to swap out? It's not about never shopping again. It's about being a lot more intentional and thoughtful about the whole process and enjoying the process a lot more. I enjoy the search. I enjoy having things saved on my wish list for weeks, and then finally purchasing that item feels very satisfying to know that this purchase is something that I've put a lot of time and thought into. If you are still here at this point in this video, you have a very long attention span. Kudos to you. And I would love if you left in the comments where you're at with your wardrobe, if you already do have some sort of capsule wardrobe situation, or if this is the first video that you've watched on it and you're just now thinking about starting it. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you guys would be interested in seeing my Hawaii travel capsule wardrobe, because next month, for the month of May, I am spending it in Hawaii and I am very excited. And this is going to be the first time that I'm going on a trip where I am going to try and build a capsule and be a lot more intentional with the pieces that I am bringing with me instead of overpacking. Also, let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing other things that I have minimized and curated, such as my makeup collection, and keep an eye out and subscribe if you want to see my silver jewelry collection, because I am planning on filming and uploading that very soon. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention throughout this video. I really appreciate you sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.
Oh, hello, Mama. What's